Welcome to Melted, sponsored by Carlino Guitars. So excited to have Ryan Roxie on today. Ryan is a solo artist as well as the guitarist for Alice Cooper. He is certainly amazing. We're going to talk a lot about what he's up to, what it's like in quarantine. He teaches guitar. He does the System 12 guitar method, and it is a 12-week challenge. You learn a little bit every week. And the guitar can be, overwhelming. But after his course, you are a guitarist. He has a litany of bands he's played with. He's with Alice Cooper right now. And he's a really inspirational guy, even though he's a Raiders fan. So Ryan also has his own podcast, In the Trenches. His tagline is Faster Alone, Farther Together. So in System 12 guitar method, you get to learn Buffalo Springfield's For What It's Worth. That's the first song you get to learn, and it's interactive. He's done so much stuff. If you open his Wikipedia, your computer might crash. From Slash's Snake Pit, he writes, he produces. Just a lot of good stuff we're going to get into today. The touring life, what sort of gear he uses. I just find him really inspiring. Melted is sponsored by Carlino Guitars. And you can go down to Carlino's and find Eddie. He does custom straps, guitars, amplifiers. He made my PS120, blinged it out with the crystals. He does t-shirts, anything a band needs, Eddie can do for you. And there's a nice big purple couch down there, as well as 1,000 guitars to choose from. You can also get lessons from the famous Joe Filoni. He is wonderful. And it's just a great environment down there, 135 Mystic Ave in Medford. Well. How are you?
How are you doing?
Well, Ryan, if you're going to wake me up, this is how I roll out of bed, okay?
I wasn't expecting that hat.
Well,
the glasses I'm cool with. The hat's just like...
Thank God for that and technology.
Is that a Paul Stanley model in the back of you?
It is.
Yeah, I could tell by the headstock.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Eddie Carlino made that for me. So what brings you to Sweden?
I guess the really great weather and the taxes.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
There's that.
Our buddy.
Was looking for nice, good old fashioned.
Yes.
Okay.
Hail you, hail me. I actually stopped drinking 10 years ago for everybody's safety. And I was so bored that I filled out my paperwork to become an EU citizen.
And how did that work out for you?
Very well. Very well. My hair still turns water into wine. I can still be in clubs.
Yeah. Well, that was saved on tolls because you can walk on water.
Are you kidding me? So tell me, you've had a really illustrious career, and you're very motivational as well. Where do you find your inspiration?
Where does anyone find inspiration from? Comedians, mostly.
Yeah.
I think the comedians of at least my generation and now subsequent generations, they always sort of lead the way in sort of making you smile and laugh at these horrible social situations we tend to find ourselves more increasingly. And then, to be able to go through life with sort of pointing out the silliness and ridiculousness of it all, it kind of inspires me. Because I get to do, all the ridiculousness on stage, and I get to jump around like a dancing monkey and get paid for it.
No, and I think you inspire other people, especially with your System 12 guitar method, which I want to get into. I started guitar later in life. I've been 28 for a few centuries now. Thank God for Oil of Olay. But
Is that what you use, oil of Olay? I mean, I've been looking for a good moisturizer myself, and I just figured oil of Olay was something that my grandparents used to actually fix their car. So,
no, exactly.
It's still really a product.
Use as well if you want to be with the cool kids. I use Moroccan oil in my hair. But
I just did some oil pulling, by the way.
Really?
Coconut oil. You ever swish coconut oil in your mouth for 20 minutes a day? It's supposed to give you very better teeth and pulling toxins out of your gums and better breath, better teeth, more whiter teeth. I don't know if you can't really see it. My teeth sort of have the sheen of one of my gold top Les Pauls back there.
Well, we call it a Colgate smile. So you've got it, friend. And yes, I've tried that before. Did you just start doing that, or has it been a practice?
It's been on and off for a couple of years now. I kind of do the oil pulling with the market value price of coconut oil. In some years I can't afford it, and in other years, it's right in there.
I mean, I'll always collect cans, and no, I appreciate what you talk about. Growing up in South Boston, the Irish section of the city. My grandmother said it costs nothing to be nice. Smile and the world smiles with you. I kiss the Blarney Stone, it kissed me back. And humor is a great thing. And I just wanted to ask you, who were the good-looking players who played with you in the video Hearts of Trouble? Really good-looking guys.
Are you sure about that? They seem to be like
great dressers.
You don't really ever find popular triplets that are great looking, right? I mean, it's always twins or whatever. It's always and for the really sort of niche audience, it's the Olsen twins. But it's like. Yeah, but as far as like good-looking trios, there's not really, because I mean, who do you go with? The Marx Brothers? I mean,
right.
But they weren't even triplets; they were just brothers. Right. And even if you go triplets, I mean, none of the chipmunks weren't actually all good-looking, huh?
Well, I mean, what time signature is it with the three of you doing triplets?
What time signature is triplets?
Rush clock.
No. Now you've really gotten me into this. I should know. I authored the System 12 guitar method. You know what? If you want to learn how to play guitar, but not learn what triplets mean in music, then definitely join my course. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that you're in the course and, teaching and 12-week challenge. And I think the guitar, as I said in my intro, I started playing later in life, and it was the bass because it only had 4 strings. So tell me more about. If you
always want a job, if you always want a job, you can play bass. Because every band needs a bass player. There's enough of us guitar players, always lying around that sometimes some of us guitar players become bass players by default. But the people that pick up the bass guitar because that is their true love from the beginning, that means they're going to be employed and probably pretty successful and definitely, going to end up with more of an income in the long run, probably, I would say, per capita.
And it's like the joke. The father took his son to his first bass lesson. So he goes to the second lesson and he sees the teacher leaving, jumping into a tour bus, and he goes, "Where are you going?" "On tour." It's like the bass is that easy, but it's employable. It's really hard. I mean, I
know you hear a lot of drummer jokes, but that's the first bass joke I heard. I'll tell you a tuba player joke, and Alice Cooper tells me this one, and I think it's the funniest one. It's what is the definition of an optimist? And it's a tuba player with a beeper. See, you wouldn't know because your generation's a little too young to know what a beeper is.
Listen,
a beeper. The old ta-choom-pa.
I've had it with you young kids, Ryan, having a better time than me.
I just had to grab my landline phone. No, I actually have a cell phone.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, the great thing is elephants and donkeys grow big ears.
Yes.
With your system, are you teaching a little bit of theory as well? What I really love about the first lesson, it's interactive because it will just show you which notes to play, where it is on the neck. It's very user-friendly. Yes. So through the process, are you teaching a little bit of theory, or where do we go in the other weeks? And I'm going to have to find that out by June.
The thing I like about this System 12 is that you're taking all my experience, all my 40-plus years of playing guitar, all the little life hacks, the guitar hacks that I've learned over the years from myself just by playing, and from other players by being, in 100 bands. Something good happened out of being in 100 bands, 98, which you never heard of, but, all those different configurations of bands helped me gain experience about the guitar. So I put that into this course and then combined it with the technology that we use with SoundSlice. It has scrolling text. It has a keyboard, a virtual fretboard. So there's a little bit of gamification. So there's you have tablature and regular notation. And we actually spell the notes out. So everything is combined. There's so many different ways to learn. You choose one which works best for you. And at the end of the day, you can even just look at my face, 3 different angles to learn the video. So you've got the video, the scrolling text, the virtual fretboard, everything packed into one course. So where's it going after the first lesson? Well, you can actually go on and demo lesson 2 on the purchase site because they give that away as well. And the thing is, it's going to provide you with a foundation of how to, all the things you need to know, but not so much that it's going to cloud your memory and cloud your creative aspect. Because at the end of the day, you have to be creative with the guitar. That's how you're going to eventually get employed and working. And you're going to have to learn songs. But I feel that we give enough of the foundation. You learn all your notes. You learn all your sharps and flats. And this could be one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made, my friend, because there's another interview coming in at 3 o'clock right now. So I'm not sure if this is live. Is this live right now?
It is not. It's pre-recorded. So do you want to
great. If we can come back, if you can leave this open and I can come back as soon as I finish this interview?
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
I'll do that. Watch. Yeah. In fact, hola. I am good right now. Can you hold on just 1 second? I'm actually delaying one interview to go to your interview, and then I'm going to come back to this interview. How about that? Does that sound good? Well, hold on. Say hello to the other audience. No, hold on 1 second. Do you want to call me? Is it cool? Are we on for about another 15?
No, take your time, brother. It's no big deal. And are you speaking Spanish? Because I do too.
So you can call me back in how about, would 20 minutes work okay?
Yeah.
Call me back in 30. Call me back in 30 minutes, and then we'll definitely do this. Sorry, I'm double booked. I don't ever do this. Take care, man. Thanks. Thank you, buddy. See you in 30. Bye. We will be done talking in 30 minutes, won't we?
No te preocupes, hermano. I live in
No hablo español. No, I honestly, this is one of those weird things, and obviously you're going to edit this out. Probably not.
I'm not. I'm just kidding. Go on.
I have a feeling it makes for good content, whatever that is. But, how many times have you been doing an interview and you get called on another one just because I'm looking at my calendar saying 3 o'clock. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that there's 2 things happening at 3 o'clock my time. And I am in a different time zone. I'm obviously in a different headspace right now.
Well, right. You know what the bottom line is? No worries. This is the magic of life. And, it is. I'd be glad to triple book people. Good things are happening. I would be glad to be triple booked, to be honest with you. Right. Which leads us all back to triplets, right? If you have a triplet with a gig, that is a good thing, folks. And honestly, I don't teach the triplets. Actually, you know what? There is a little bit of knowledge of the triplets in the System 12 as well. It's a little bit later of a lesson, because the thing that I do with System 12 is that
I teach things a little bit non-traditional. We learn everything that you would learn in a course, I think, and more, but we learn it at different intervals. I think it's way more important to learn all the strings of your sixth string and fifth string, the notes on those strings, and your power chords before you learn your first position cowboy chords, if you will. Because what's the hardest thing for a brand new guitar player that just out of the gate has all this inspiration? They have to start putting their fingers around in all these weird positions.
And let's do an F. Let's not.
Oh, no. The F chord should never, ever be put upon anybody that's learning the guitar until way later. In fact, it's almost the last open chord that I teach, because I do teach chords in the order of the alphabet as well, to make things very simple. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, by lesson 1, you're already playing a song. Lesson 2, you've got 2 songs under your belt, or 2 riffs. So throughout the 12 lessons, you're going to end up learning at least 12 entire songs. I'm not talking just like a riff. You're going to learn 12 musical songs that you can play at campfires and get, very popular very quick. It's like that old episode in comic books, that old comic strip ad where the guy gets sand kicked in his face, and he gets bullied because he's a big tough guy. Then he goes to work out, and at the very end, he gets the lovely lady on the beach because he did his work. No, this is different. It's System 12. He gets to learn guitar, and he gets to play Kumbaya at a campfire, and everybody loves him after that.
No, and that's the thing about music. It brings us together. We have systems in life. People have to work their jobs, 2 jobs at a time. But if you ask anybody, what do? I love music. Brings us together, and to be able to play the instrument and with your system to give them confidence to, wow, I'm already up to 12 songs. Then their curiosity grows, and giving them that foundation. Then if they're, interested in learning your solo stuff, or Motley Crue, or Alice Cooper, or even country, whatever you're into.
Then stay in the family. You stay in the RGA. You're always welcome to stay in the RGA, which we call the Roxie Guitar Army. You're in on the private Facebook group. If you get in touch with me, we invite you in, and then we all sort of learn together. But to be honest with you, unlike other guitar teachers, my goal for you guys is not to hang on to you as long as possible to get, every last lesson out of you that you pay for. No, you pay for the course once, and then we want to teach you so you can fly from the nest, so to speak, and you can YouTube rabbit holes like I did, learning new songs and new riffs and new techniques, because by the time you're done with System 12, you have enough of a foundation that you can learn all this stuff on your own. And at the very end of the day, there's so many more tools out there than when I started learning guitar to help you with that.
And it is so helpful. And it's the great thing about it as well. You're there teaching. Even during, a lot of people can't go out now during the pandemic. So we bring you over the house, and that's it.
I'm your perfect house guest, because you know what? You can learn guitar with me for a while, and then you can just say, see ya, bye.
Ryan, stop drinking all that coffee. Who's drinking the coffee? Ryan.
It's not the coffee. It's not the coffee you're having problems with me drinking at a lesson.
I love it.
Teaching guitar lessons drives you to drink, I think.
Have you done any of the rock fantasy camps?
I have not. I've done a bunch of clinics, and I've done similar things with Rock Fantasy Camp, but it hasn't been for wealthy businessmen. Because I'm not sure because Rock Fantasy Camp to me, it screams, wealthy red Porsche business guy that wants to be, hey, I want to hang out with Dee Snider this weekend and be a rock star. And that's amazing experience if you can afford it. But now, what I've done is sort of rock and roll camps, but it's with, younger aspiring kids that are, try and get the summer school sort of classes, and I've done a few of those things here in Sweden where we get a bunch of the younger rock and rollers together, and we form bands with them, and me and a buddy would I'll have one group where we form a band and learn a song. They'll have another group of kids that know a certain song. They get a song together, and then we sort of have a battle of the bands in that sense. So it's the same concept. It just hasn't been for the more wealthier set, which I'm not. Maybe I'm completely wrong with that, but isn't that the sort of impression you get when you hear Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp?
No, I'm actually, when I looked at it and I watched the movie, I'm interviewing David Fishoff, the CEO of it, this Sunday. And in watching it, seeing Alice and, all the stars, it seems like people who love basketball might go to Jordan's camp. They do have programs that work things out. You probably do have to have $5,000 or more. So for me, when I was learning guitar, for instance, that would have been a non-starter for me because I didn't have that money to put into that. That's what I say. And like I say, folks, when I say wealthy, it doesn't mean that you can't afford it. It just means that, if you're a musician like the way I was growing up, it's right. A little bit relative, but it's like, those types of things weren't possibilities. But like I say, I think it is important for inspirational musicians to sort of, and it's our duty to sort of pass the torch on to the next. Hopefully I've done a little bit of that with the System 12 guitar method, and hopefully I will do more of that sort of pedagogical stuff, bringing younger musicians up and older musicians, because I do say that it's never too late to start learning guitar. And we have, and System 12 is real proof of that. We have, we're from like 12 years old to like 52 years old to even some 62-year-old players that had never played guitar before are having success with our System 12. So, who knows? Maybe a Roxie and roll camp. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I even started
focus on the triplets.
Yes, there's real hope. I started a band later in life. I like to say I've been 28 for a few decades, and it's given me so much confidence. It's a passion, and to be able to have System 12 guitar method and just with the scrolling you make it so easy. And
the tech makes it easy. I think the actual course itself, the way it's laid out and designed and formatted, makes things much more simple than any other guitar course that's out there. So I appreciate you taking it and learning it and taking it under your belt and spreading the word about it, because the best obvious advertisement we can have are guitarists that are playing, working, and enjoying it.
And that's the whole thing. So with all of that, you talk about your years and years of experience. I really also enjoyed your Uh-Oh song. What inspired you with that?
The Uh-Oh song? Well, it obviously wasn't too deep of a thinker when it comes to prolific songwriting. Uh-oh. Okay, there's
but the other thing is, too, I think the message, because you've been waiting for this moment all your life, you're not going to let it go. I'm
not going to let this moment pass me by. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I never said I knew the way how. All I know is right here, right now. And right now, I want to hear you. I want to hear you. And the whole uh-oh was inside my head, whether I would be playing a small cafe, a larger theater, or maybe even a stadium. I wanted to hear my goal was to hear everybody in that situation come back to me with uh-oh. So if I say uh-oh, you guys go uh-oh. So I mean, but it is about, taking that moment, whatever moment it is you're on stage, and making the most of it. Because I've been very, very fortunate, riding those coattails of Alice Cooper, to be sort of his guy for as many years as I've been able to be one of his guitar players. And he's had a ton of great guitar players over the years. I'm just very fortunate that I've been able to stick with him as long as I have. He's given me some opportunities on stage that I play in front of more people than most get to. And I know how lucky I am with that. And I know how grateful I am to get those opportunities. So when I have that opportunity, I take it all in. So when I go back to playing, whether it's a Ryan Roxie solo club tour, or whether it's even a cafe, a restaurant, a clinic, I have that same feeling of 70,000 people singing back to me.
No, absolutely. I mean, I wrote a song famous in my own mind, whether it's...
Aren't we all?
And I think that's the thing.
Not
that's why,
thing.
When I talk about your inspiration, you are inspiring. So even in your tagline, faster alone, Father together, it seems to me the more we cooperate and help one another, which, you hear the stories about rock stars, etc. Where's my green M&Ms, or divas that you can't deal with. I didn't know if you came from a Zen Buddhist background or where you acquired it, because bands can be like marriages, with people you don't sleep with.
Yeah,
so
they definitely are without half the sex or any of the sex,
right?
Unless you're in Fleetwood Mac or whatever. But the thing is, I think it's definitely been something that I've learned over the years. Right. This a little bit more of enjoy the ride, because it was, for me, coming up, it was always, what's next? What's next? What's next? This can't be it. I have to go more. And always pushing yourself, but not being so happy in that moment. You can push yourself and still be enjoying the moment of what you're doing. You can enjoy the journey. That's why I say enjoy the ride as much as I do, whether it's my tagline in the faster alone, farther together. I know that's been, enjoy the ride's been used. I mean, they've all been, you've heard them around, but to practice those types of things, it really does benefit you, to have that sort of attitude, because as personal experience, I didn't always enjoy the moment. I was always, thinking, okay, well, if I've done this, but yeah, fine. Now, why isn't this happening? Because I've accomplished this. And now I realize, you know what? It's never going to be that way if you don't give yourself the credit and enjoyment of achieving something. And that, like your song says, famous in your own mind. It's not a bad thing, folks, to be famous in your own mind, because who's going to be your biggest fan other than yourself? If you're not your biggest fan, how can you convince all these, hundreds and thousands and, hopefully at one point millions of people to think the same?
Yeah, those are facts. I can't control people, places, or things. It's how I react to it a day at a time that helped me achieve, 10 years without alcohol. So it's just how we react.
Well, congrats on you. I mean, it's definitely, everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own vices. I'm not without them, for sure. None of us are.
Right.
And, but it's how you deal with it. And if you can look at yourself as the world being in your orbit of people that you're around, this one layer, you're just one layer, and everybody else has a layer around you. But if your layer, what you bring in your own world, if you can shine and you can do the best that you can do for your life and get the most that you can out of your own personal life, it'll radiate, and other layers around you will notice that, and it'll have a positive effect.
Yeah, and it comes back. My favorite thing is going to the supermarket and hearing the laughs under the mask. So if you can make them laugh under the mask, you've really done something during the day.
I like that. Yeah. At least you're wearing a mask.
Right.
Yeah.
Believe me.
That's progress.
Believe me. So one of my other guests, speaking of what you were talking about, success, etc., he had 5 multi-platinum albums in a row. And that was the thing. He said he was always looking forward, like what is next, and success. So I think, like you said, and if people can take a grasp of that and just, enjoy it. I mean, everybody has to take the trash out. It doesn't matter. I can't drive 5 cars at a time. A 1-4-5 chord song could buy me a Ferrari, but I can't drive 5 of them. I can't live in 7 houses at a time. I know at the end of your system, we'll all be making big money and having a blast. But,
I mean, if this last year in the pandemic has taught us anything, it's taught us that, yeah, you can have, you can have a bigger house. You can have all those 5 cars. You can have so much more material stuff than other people because of your success and your hard work. And that's great. That's fine. And you should be congratulated for it. But at the same time, when it really comes down to it, you couldn't go anywhere with all that success and money at one point, during the pandemic. You're in your house. It might be a nicer house. No big deal. But you're in your house dying to get out. And you know what? We were all in that same boat. I like this. I heard some always like, we're all in the same boat, but just some of us, they're yachts, and some of us, they're tugboats, and some of them,
it's a rowboat. It's fine.
Yeah. But, that's realistic.
Yeah.
But the reality is that during that time, this is what the pandemic at least taught me, is it didn't matter how much success or how much money you had, you still couldn't leave your house. You couldn't. Where would you go even if you could? And what the one thing that so many of these musicians wanted us to do, so many of us musicians wanted to do was just play and perform. We had to figure out other ways to do it because all we wanted to do was entertain, because that's what we know. It didn't matter if you were the biggest band of the world or just starting out, knowing that you're eventually someday going to be the biggest band in the world. Whether you're a musician and what you're supposed to do is entertain, and you couldn't do it or couldn't figure out how to do it for a while. I'm happy to think, I'm happy that we did figure out some ways of doing it. I think that things like this, the conversations, they didn't replace live shows, but they supplemented it to a certain extent. It became more important to talk to individuals and talk to other musicians via online more than it ever had before.
Live streams, yeah.
So that's why not only the System 12 guitar method came around, so you could do something while you were indoors and having some extra time. Another reason for me to start off the In the Trenches podcast was for that exact reason. Yeah, so and just like you're doing yours. Oh my God, is it already? Oh no.
You're so good.
No, it's not. We are still going.
Well, this is the question I had about In the Trenches.
Yes.
What have you learned from your various guests that you're like, wow, I did not know that or didn't expect?
Every single week that we do an episode of In the Trenches, I leave the episode fully inspired. honestly, because every single person I've had on, and this male, female, doesn't matter what instrument our guest plays, doesn't matter what field they're in, because actually even last week or just a couple recent weeks ago, I had a guy named Eric Weinstein on, very popular YouTube personality now. He's like a financial analyst guru, like very mathematician genius, but he also plays guitar. Just all these types of personalities I've been able to get onto the podcast. And when you start hearing them tell their story, and everyone's a little bit different, but at the end of the day, these 3 P's that I preach about all the time, practice, persistence, and patience. So those 3 P's, you see every single one of our guests exhibit to an extent, that sort of philosophy. They learn their craft, they keep going, they have persistence to keep kicking that door down, and they actually have patience, because a lot of them, they have success later in life. Some of them have success right away, but they're able to go with that success afterwards and learn how to diversify that success into other fields of entertainment. So I'm honestly inspired every single episode.
Nice. I don't know if you've been stealing my show notes, but
what's that?
The guru I know who did a TED Talk in Stockholm says, achieve your goals with practice, persistence, and patience.
Yeah, that was a TED Talk. That was fun, man. That was actually that's a bucket list thing. I mean, how many rock and roll guitar players get to do a TED Talk? That was quite fun for me to do. And the thing is, I'd always wanted to do a TED Talk. It just never. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. And that was the thing. I never. It just came so suddenly and out of the blue. I got a phone call from the organization saying, "Hey, we'd like for you to sort of entertain some in between the shows, in between these TED Talks." I said, "I will entertain. I don't need them. I don't want any money for it. I want a TED Talk." And they said, "Well, let me go talk to the board." And they talked about it, and they went to the board, and they went, had this meeting and stuff. And then she came back and said, "Yeah, you know what? All our TED Talks, you get 11 to 17 minutes. Can you fit what your message is in between there?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Okay, then you're on." And so basically, I wrote my TED Talk, which I'd basically been living in about 48 hours, because it came rather quick, and it was one of those TED Talks where there was a bunch of different speakers. I think there was a consulate from a Russian consulate guy that was there from the Russian consulate in Sweden, and then I did my thing, and there was Greta Thunberg, who's like a
Yes.
big Swedish activist. She's actually a world activist now at this point,
Yes.
but she was sort of the headliner. So I got that coveted middle slot, which was kind of fun to do, because whether it's, I guess, doing TED Talks or whether it's being in a rock and roll band, folks, if you ever get the opportunity to be on a triple band bill, always take the middle slot. Always take the middle slot, all right? Because it's a lot of pressure to be the headliner on the third band. It's hard to, there you go, there's your cat. To be the opening band is like, okay, you can make a splash with it, but people are still kind of filing in, getting ready for the show. To be that middle band, that's when everybody's ready. And then honestly, I got to thank Motley Crue, for allowing, that Alice Cooper.
I saw you guys.
Crew, and then we have a different opener on a bunch of the different shows, but whether it was the Raskins or whether it was Eric's band, what was his name? The band's name. Which show did you see? Did you see?
It was the Xfinity Center. It was a few years ago. It was one of Motley Crue's last tours.
Yeah, it was the final tour. So,
Yeah.
but it was always 3 bands. They made it a 3-band bill, and we were lucky to get on those that middle slot. So there's a little bit of advice. I don't know if I say that in the System 12 guitar method, but that is a very good piece of advice to don't always wish to be the last band going on. Be right in the middle because everybody's energy's up.
I like that. And then when we have the System 24, you can cover it in the next 12 that you do.
Ooh, those are those other 12 frets. You realize that, the System 12 is basically just, the open string up to those double dots up to your 12th fret.
Yeah.
That's it. I teach you everything from here to here because everything past that is just a repeat.
Yeah.
So there's a little taste of what's you're in store for.
No, I like that. And the 12 days of Pickmas. You need to stop having more fun than everybody else, Ryan. I appreciate that so much.
Come on. Everybody's allowed to have as much fun as they want. There's no quota. There's no reaching a quota on fun.
On that. Well, the other thing is, too, I know you had your Super Bowl party in the midst of it all, which I really enjoyed. You're a Bay Area guy. I went to high school at Mills in Millbrae. Why Raiders over the 49ers growing up?
Well, for me, I was East Bay. I grew up in a little cow town called Pleasanton, and I actually did live in the same housing tract. This is going to sound about as suburban as possible. I lived in a housing tract as the Maddens. John Madden, who coached. John Madden coached the Raiders during those days. Right up the street, one of the nicer sort of mansions up there was owned by Gene Upshaw. So there was a bunch of Raiders already living in my town growing up. And it was the 70s, too. So you have to understand the 70s Oakland Raiders, they were the team. Kenny Stabler, Fred Biletnikoff, Cliff Branch, Marv Hubbard. I mean, and even with the Oakland A's as well. So I was into my East Bay teams. It was the Oakland Athletics as far as baseball and the Raiders, obviously. But then when the Raiders moved down to Los Angeles, then I moved to Los Angeles, just to follow my music career. It wasn't just following the Raiders. And then they moved back up to Oakland, then to Las Vegas. I always say being a Raiders fan isn't so much a city, it's more of a state of mind.
No, absolutely. Vegas, baby, Vegas. That'll be fun to, be able to get out there and see their new stadium.
That could be their new slogan. I like that. Just Vegas, baby.
We are just a fun marketing machine here, Ryan.
You really are, man. You have it all under control. I think it's time to put that unicorn cap back on because that's your thinking cap. I really think that might actually be the thing that that's where all the ideas come from.
I need everybody to grow up right now. I've had it with your shenanigans, buddy.
Well, just so you know, I felt like I've been talking for the last half hour between a cross of Chips Enough and Dennis Dunaway only because you've got Chips Enough's glasses on in the front, but Dennis Dunaway does the trick that you're using as well. He double glasses it as well.
Oh my gosh!
And I really do love that.
You got the show notes. You're really astute at this. And just lastly, because you played with so many bands, how did you get in with Alice Cooper?
That was a good day. That was one of those auditions gone right. Nice. I went down and auditioned for it. Alice was there. Very, very respectful of him to be at the audition. Had Eric Singer was playing drums. Who else was in the band that was down there? Reb Beach was in the same room. We were all in this sort of, it was at Mate's rehearsal down in Los Angeles, and Bobby from Mate's, who owns the place, he always says, "Yeah, Roxie, I got you that gig." But you know what? At the end of the day, I got me that gig.
Right.
But it was because I wanted that gig. I didn't wish for it. I intended to get it, and I worked hard for it. I nailed the parts that I needed to nail that day. Yes, Gilby Clarke from GNR, he put in a really good word for me to begin with because Alice initially was curious about having both me and Gilby being the guitar players. And then Gilby couldn't do it because of his solo record deal. And Red Beach, when we were down at the auditions, I kind of knew that Red Beach was already going to get picked as that shredder guy. So what they needed was a 70s sort of more legato, just, bending the notes just enough, between Michael Bruce and Glenn Buxton, funky off, but sounding cool. That, like I said, that day, those notes fell into place for me, and Alice and I hit it off from the beginning, and it's been, over almost 25 years now? Damn. Off and on.
You've been 28 for a while. I just wanted to...
we're all that age. I thought that was very interesting when you said that earlier, because you said I've been 28 for a lot of years. I think we're all the age that we want to be,
right,
in our minds. Now, it's to sustain that, you have to keep doing things that reinforce that young state of mind. Because if you don't, then you're going to have an old salty state, an old salty attitude, and that's fine for some people. Actually, you know what? I don't mind.
Right.
I don't mind the old Clint Eastwood Gran Torino personality every once in a while. I see it pop out in me now.
Well, I see my dad make my day. He's a police officer.
Get off my lawn. Stay off my lawn. But I quickly go back to that part of, like, Roxie, enjoy the ride. You know what? And enjoy the company that you're keeping right now, because you're doing your best to, still prove things, whether it's with System 12 or whether it's with the In the Trenches podcast. You're still, setting goals and attaining them. So that's what I want to do. And I guess the biggest next goal for us would be to get back out on the road and start rocking and rolling for people again. So hopefully that happens.
Goals. In the meantime, it's like you said, whether it's, at the coffee shop, wherever you are, it's the entertaining. My dad ripped a Kiss poster off my wall growing up, and this is what he gets for that. But it is a state of mind. I really appreciate your enthusiasm, taking the time out to teach people with the System 12 guitar method, doing a podcast like myself, and it's that visualization to make things happen. I would have not had you on my show. It's a great honor if I didn't ask. Ask and you shall receive. Put it out there, and practice and preparation, it brings you to the place, when you're called on, when someone goes down to fill in, and just always be ready. So, I can't thank you enough for being on Melted. I am also going to take my little EU passport. I'll be down the street, keep your coffee hot.
Hopefully I'll be on some tour bus somewhere, doing what I've been doing for the last few years. But it's been nothing but a pleasure being on the podcast. You run it real well. I think all the questions were cogent, and thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be up on
why not? Why edit it? It'll be great. Or just make a blooper reel of when my other interview called at one point, and then of course I haven't heard from him in a long time. But my drummer from Roxie 77, he was a second phone call, Anton, and he was the one that actually hosted this year's Super Bowl party, by the way. So
no, awesome. Have you played at a Super Bowl? Have we got that done yet?
I have not done that yet. That's a tough one, man. That's a big one, right? And it's weird because, for me, it's like the only two that I really thought were, well, I don't know. There's been good ones, but I thought Prince was a great one, and of all, I thought Bruno Mars' first appearance on the Super Bowl, I felt he really stepped up to the challenge and killed it. But I think a lot of times it's weird. You're almost sandwiched in because it's such a big, production.
There's so much going on.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers played the Super Bowl, but then they played they played 5 minutes in between, 18 different bands, and it was this big, to me, I don't know. It seems to me it would be great to play the Super Bowl just as that bucket list, but I think it might be even funner to play the after party.
Okay, let's do this. We got your TED Talk in. Let me make a few phone calls.
All right, thank you. Well, hey, man, you did it. You've done it so far. Put on the unicorn cap and make the phone call, all right?
Because that's the thing. I got to see U2 play in the '01 Super Bowl. And Janet Jackson's little problem with Timberlake.
Yeah.
Things happen. Well, brother, you have a great day. You enjoy your evening. And, we'll talk soon. And be blessed. Thank you.
I thank you so much, man. Make sure you hit that record button so it goes off and you stop recording. Yes. I've done that mistake before too. I've lost really good interviews by just being all excited and then like going, I didn't press save.
Dear diary, the tips, the things we can learn. You're the best, brother.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm glad we were able to make it happen now.
As you say hi to those good-looking guys in the video. And we want to thank Ryan Roxie for being on Melted. The guitarist for Alice Cooper, he has his own solo career. The System 12 guitar method will help you learn the guitar. It's interactive. He's a great teacher. Check out his podcast, In the Trenches with Ryan Roxie. His website, ryanroxie.com. And this is Frankie Melted Chapsticks Hollywood in a unicorn hat, wishing everybody a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.